What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the Port Adelaide and Essendon trade debate for Orazio Fantasia. Now, this trade period has just begun today, and it's becoming already a very intriguing place. For the next 10 days or so, it's going to be very much silly season, isn't it? A lot of hypothetical trades flying up in the air, a lot of discussions of what's worth what and who's going to be worth more and who's going to win trades and blah blah blah. Particularly the Orazio Fantasia trade. Now, this was talked about in last year's trade period between Port and Essendon. There was talks that Orazio wanted to come home, and that idea was floated, but instead he decided to stay. Had a very inconsistent season in 2019. Come to 2020 where he stays at Essendon, he only plays I think 5 or 6 games in an injury-riddled season. He's been one of the more inconsistent players of the comp, and for me, one of the most overrated. And now, when it comes to talking about the trade itself, there's been a lot of talk that Essendon have denied Port Adelaide's first offer, which would be pick 28 in the draft. Now, pick 28 for Orazio Fantasia, for me, and I think a lot of others as well, is overs. But if you want someone desperately, you're going to pay a little bit more than what they're worth just to get them to the club. And now, this is all hypothetical. We know Orazio's potential, but I just don't think pick 28 should be denied from Essendon. Now, we know Dodoro is one of the more complicated list managers to deal with when it comes to the trade. I remember back 2014, that trade period, we were dealing for Paddy Ryder. Dodoro came out and said he wanted 2 first-round picks for Paddy Ryder. Now, for me, that's just shocking. We ended up doing pick 17 and 37 for Paddy Ryder, which was more than enough for what he delivered to the club, and it was actually exceptional. Actually ended up being a pretty damn good deal for Port Adelaide. It didn't happen for on-field success, but it was such a very good attribute to the club. Now, when it comes to Orazio Fantasia, there's a lot of ifs and buts and what's going to happen, all those types of questions, because he's got his injuries. There's a lot of talk about his cultural issues, just getting consistency in his game. He's a lot like De Goey. Just can't get a consistent brand of football going in enough patches. And for me, when Orazio is at his best, he'll kick 3-4 goals in a game and actually deliver on the big stage. He can be a big game player. I've seen him play at half-back as well, but you can't be throwing around, denying pick 28. Now, I know the draft and the trade period are very complicated and people want the best deal for each of their clubs, and a lot of discussion is going to happen in the comment section. And trust me, I've read a few of the comment sections on posts throughout Facebook and Twitter and across social media. They are very funny. They're all agreeing with the consensus that Orazio is overrated and Essendon are asking for, well, they're dreaming, basically. The best part is, the news that I heard today was that, per Tom Morris, he came out and said apparently Essendon's questioning whether they could have one of Ollie Wines, Mitch Georgiades, Todd Marshall, Zach Butters, or Xavier Dersma, or a first-round pick.
Tell him he's dreaming.
That's like asking for a zinger box. In return, you're getting a fillet of fish burger from McDonald's. And they're apparently going to throw in a pick 6 or their first-round pick and plus for Fantasia for one of those players. Port Adelaide are they're actually really good when it comes to dealing with the draft and trade period. They're very smart. And of course, they gave that the deny. Dealing with Dodoro is like going to Adelaide Oval and paying for those prices. It's actually ridiculous. You're playing overs for what you're getting. It's happened for quite a while, and it happens with every club that deals with Essendon. And they overrate their players so much. That's why they haven't won a final in 16 years. Adrian Dodoro is the ticket scalper of the trade period. Unfortunately, he plays a big hand early and then succumbs to the fact that he knows he's not going to get anything better, and he's got a player that's willing to leave now. And you're not going to get anyone if Fantasia stays another year. You're going to get a poor output. He wants to leave, so there's his motivation already not to put in a full 100% for a full season. And you're basically going to let him go for nothing and get nothing in return. Take the pick 28, Essendon. That's the best you're going to get for Orazio. You've got better deals out there. You've got the likes of Dunkley that will possibly come to your club. There's bigger fish to fry than letting Orazio Fantasia stay. My advice to Essendon in this whole debacle, just give up now, get this trade over and done with, and then play your hand at other bigger clubs. Let Orazio go. Silly season, such a stressful time, bloody hell. Anyway, that is my little take on the Orazio Fantasia debacle at the moment. What are you guys thinking? Let me know in the comments below. It's a fascinating period of time to deal with in terms of being a supporter, because you just, well, it's a very opinionated time, that's for sure. But nonetheless, we take it as we go. We're most likely going to get Orazio anyway. It's probably the only trade we're going to do this trade period. Thanks very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content. My name is Anthony, and as always, can the pair.